Hello Canada, welcome back to another edition of the Canadian Citizen Journal. I'm your host, alias Tagai. We have got a fair amount to go over here this morning. Lots going through this cycle. We're going to start off with a story that's actually been going on for quite a while here. Again, government overstepping its bounds. This time it has to deal with an ostrich farm. From there, of course, we're going to talk about this Elections Canada is out of control. I explained how there was a ballot that, because of Elections Canada printing the wrong return address, became invalid. It wasn't registered and was sent back to the person who actually put the ballot out. It wasn't her fault. It was Election Canada's fault. This is in a riding that for some reason had been contested a couple times until it swung by one vote into Liberal favor, and now with 100% evidence showing that it was Elections Canada that made this mistake, they said, too bad, so sad, it's staying a Liberal seat. Canada is beyond broken. This, I've said, I try not to say that it's the electoral system is broke, but there's issues that can be fixed. But this statement by itself just ended that. Elections Canada is twisted, obviously, to favor a party, without a doubt, because this is 100% evidence. We're going to get on that. We're going to get on with Macron Starmer and Starmer with this cocaine that they got busted with when the cameras rolled in. We're going to break that down a little bit for you as well. Of course, Canadian Taxpayers Federation, he's got to love Franco. He's got a little bit of a note that he's going to throw at us. That whistleblower that I was telling you about, there's actually a story that came out on it. I talked about this on the last episode about the drug dealing, the government drug dealing, and all of the different contentious circles, a lot of corruption all the way down that are getting people hooked. She actually spoke out, and wouldn't you know what, CBC actually did a story on it, which, of course, buried somewhere into the back, and this was actually out of British Columbia, CBC. And then we got a few other things we're going to get on, and we're going to finish it off with an amazing video of a mountain climber who literally sidesteps his own end when he triggers an avalanche on the top of a mountain. It's some fabulous footage. Let's get started with this story out of BC. This is absolutely heartbreaking. I've been following it for a while, but it sounds like they're running out of time. This is Rebel News, great organization. This is an organization I back up. These guys they do fabulous work. They call them right wing on mainstream because they do their job. Anybody that does their job, they do what liberals do. They throw bullcrap accusations out there. These are real reporters. They go out, they get the stories, they do the digging. They don't care if it's right, left, wrong, middle. It don't matter. You do something that's newsworthy, they're going to put it in. Let's take a listen. Like I said, this is beyond sad.
Hi everyone, this is Karen at the Ostrich farm. The day came, we never thought we'd have this happen. If we ever needed anybody's help, it's today. I see all these guys behind me. These beautiful, majestic birds. You see this? These are our pets. This is what CFIA says that they're going to come. They've been approved 1 to 4 days to come kill them. We've taken years to be able to pet these guys, walk amongst these guys. We love these guys. They're all happy and healthy. If we don't stand for this and we don't pull together and we don't save all of these beautiful, happy, healthy animals, then what kind of world have we become?
All right, Katie, we just heard some, gut-wrenching words from your mom. Why don't you tell us what was going through your mind and what's been going through your guys' mind ever since you found out the decision?
Yeah, extremely disappointed. But then, at some point, it's kind of like not shocking because we had our expert witness report struck from our record. They went through every possible way to win, not protect humanity. And they just wanted to win. And it's kind of feels that way. We got stuck with $15,000 bill from them for their legal fees.
Wow.
Our taxpayer dollars went to pay for 5 lawyers to sit in our judicial review for 2 days and a flown-in judge from Ottawa. So, it was highly disappointing, but in a way not shocking. And that should be extremely alarming to people that, if they're going to that expense and at those odds to try to take us out, rather than protect humanity with a possible solution instead of a pandemic and stabilize this crisis, this should be a red flag to everybody.
No, I'm still waiting on getting the actual documents. And by the time people watch this, they'll be able to look at that in the written article linked in the description box below. But what can you tell us about what the judge said was the reason for siding with CFIA?
I haven't even had a chance to go through the whole document. We have people kind of reviewing it for us. It was very, he dismissed all of our arguments. So it was just dismissed. It's not really, I don't think, some people are like, oh, he left a little bit of a loophole, like a room for an appeal. So there is no, as we know, the Canadian Food Inspection Agency has a lot of power and no accountability. They don't show up on site to watch each animal get murdered, because I'm sure if they had to come see all the animals getting murdered, they would go back to their office and go, what am I doing? So having the farmers and people and third-party vendors with no connection is totally unhuman. But anyway, so they have too much power, and they can come to people's properties and everything based on suspicion. They don't even need a test, which is the controversial PCR test that they used on December 30th. No new testing, no testing our water, our environment, our soils. No, none of that. They've let us, we're 119 days happy and beautiful, healthy animals with herd immunity.
And, they know that they can keep adding on these costs to you guys, which has made it difficult as well. I know some have donated at the Give, Send, Go, which we also linked. So just to be clear, is an appeal out of the cards for you guys?
No, we're going to work really hard at an appeal for a Supreme Court level, but the call order is now on. And we've got notice that the Udachina landfill is preparing. They've been told to start to expect our carcasses in 1 to 4 days.
Now let's talk about that. Sorry to ask you this, but what does that mean? How does that look? How do these healthy, very large animals get slain, and who does it exactly?
Oh no, and it'll be a third-party contractor killer that has no experience with ostrich, especially healthy, fast, vibrant ones, because they're not sick. I'd like to raise the concerns of over these landfills and the transportation and the materials, and I think that people need to be very concerned over biohazardous waste traveling along all of our roads and getting buried in landfills. No environmental impact studies, watershed studies, allowing these carcasses that are supposedly super diseased to be buried in our landfills with these workers and everybody there, that they're going to be handling it. They're going to be exposed. They're taking if they're really worried about public health and safety risk, they wouldn't be taking the biggest risk, because our animals are stationary, flightless, and they are happy and healthy. They are exposed to migratory birds all the time, and they have herd immunity. And if they're removed and new ones, bring new ones on. Well, then they're still exposed to migratory birds. They're going to catch it faster because they have no immunity. And then they're going to need to get killed too. They're tiring out our farmers. And we are on the trajectory to make one of the biggest mistakes like we did with COVID. And that was target our frontline workers, target our truck drivers, target the people that were first the heroes, which is now our farmers, target the frontline, target our farmers. And now we're just not going to let us we will stay heroes, just like everybody else deserved to stay a hero. Our farmers are going to stay heroes, and that's what we're fighting for.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit more. We're going to end on what the fight looks like as of now. But before I do that, I want to throw to Peace River North MLA Jordan Keeley. Among many people, scientists, whether it be Dr. Stephen Pellick, whether it be activists who came to bat for you, whether it be people who sent emails to the Save the Ostriches campaign, whether it be the donations people gave, so many people have been standing with you, the farm and the ostriches, against this overreach. And he happens to be one of them. You were in the legislature with him last week. Here's what he had to say about the loss and what he thinks it means to British Columbian farmers.
I was devastated. I was really hoping that the federal government and the CFIA would recognize that the regulations are outdated, that there could have been alternatives to this scenario where the avian flu is going to cross different species, and how we handle this going forward. The next thing, it could be dairy cows. It could be any animal on your farm. So the scenario where you might get reported for an animal dying, or you take an animal that you may not even think that this could cross over to, and the test positive, that now means that the CFIA could come on your property and cull almost any single one of your animals, including your dog or your cat. I think there has to be a better way of dealing with this going forward. And the biggest loss in this scenario, especially with their farm, is the research that can possibly disappear with these animals, the possibilities with the antiviral and where they could go into the future. I'm heartbroken. It's the same scenario that if they were to come onto my farm, my wife would be devastated as well. It's all of her cows are her pets as well.
So Katie, tell us what the fight looks like now. What is Universal Ostrich Farms asking of the public?
We are asking you to come join us in a unified front to show your support for not just our ostrich farm, with the research that could help stabilize this crisis. Come stand with us and stand up for all of our farmers and our food security and the generations that have devoted their lives to you to make sure you have nutritional food. You can come to 301 Langille Road, Langille Road in Edgewood, British Columbia. Please watch. There's live feeds. There will be up-to-date information on saveourostriches.com. My page on Facebook, Katie Pasitny. We will be using every avenue that we can to show, but you could pray. You can donate to the continued legal fees so we can continue this really big battle and go hard and fast at this. And then you can just share it, share it and tell a neighbor, tell a friend standing in a grocery line what's happening at Universal Ostrich Farms. Yeah, we're asking that anybody who does want to attend, and anybody that will be at our farm with our family and standing in solidarity and unified farm, to be peaceful and kind and make Canada proud of coming to stand together, just like we did in Ottawa. People came together and they were kind and they were generous and they took care of each other. Anybody that is here that is rude or reckless will be asked to leave. We're asking people to come together here on the farm, just because we do want to protect these animals and we want to protect everything that they stand for.
So you're essentially having a protest against the order, but you don't know what day any of this is taking place, and you're calling people now.
In the next 1 to 4 days, and they're going to come prepared. We're a long ways out here. We're 135 kilometers away from Vernon, British Columbia. And we don't know what that looks like. They're going to be prepared and they're going to be coming with whatever they need. And when they traveled out here on February 26th, and they travel with 2 or 3 RCMP officers from all around British Columbia, Kamloops, Surrey, so they're worried. But I mean, on every one of those times, they've come here and been met with us cheersing, having a coffee, and just really letting them know what we're standing for.
I totally understand what they're going through. Obviously, anybody who is through the whole pandemic knows what the capabilities of a tyrannical government can do. And now that all the science is out and it has proven that every single thing, especially in our country, what our country did, every move the government made was the wrong move. It has been proven scientifically on so many different reports, and the media is still silent about it. And even here, I have to watch for what they've said already on there. May be enough for this to get censored. I get censored all the time. I push the edge. A lot of other people won't, but I'm sorry, just the truth. Sorry, just the truth. Now, I've been fortunate enough in my life to have been involved in raising a lot of wild animals, from bison, elk. I've helped a lot of farmers in all different type of species of deer, as well as ostrich, cattle. And in my own life right now, I don't know if you've seen previous videos. I always urge you all to check my previous videos. I've been imprinting my last hatchings of chickens. They have a closed herd. I run multiple species, like even my sounder, which is what you call like a herd of pigs. I run closed sounder. My birds are closed birds. I do this in order to not only protect my farm, but I do it in order for me to have herd immunity. Farmers are truly the most intellectual people out there. They are constantly reading. Farmers and ranchers are always reading. They're always studying. There's always more to learn and do, not only with new technology, but old technology. And the whole herd immunity thing has been known for thousands of years. This is a way that they've protected their species and protected their flocks and herds so that they have a marketable product. So I totally see what she's going through. I understand everything. I will share her Give, Send, Go as well on mine. And again, like always, I'm one of the very few that shares all the links. Rebel is a fabulous outlet. Again, they'll be in the links as well. I know I've been watching this on social media. In the last 2-3 days now, there have been a lot of people who are heading out there. If you can, go out there. If you're close by, go. They need to see the numbers. They need as many people to record what a tyrannical, completely unscientific government does without a care. And not just what she said for humanity, but for animals. They don't care. They're trying to create a huge pandemic out of this for more fear, hate, and division, when science has already proven the best methodology, the best way to go through it is science-based approach, which is number one, herd immunity, and then while trying and seeing the effects of it, we're not losing thousands of birds. Don't listen to them. I'm a farmer. I deal with birds. I deal with bird farmers. It's all a lie. It's all a lie. They're trying to scare people. We saw what happened in the States. They're trying to do it here. Again, I'll put the link down there. If you can go and support her in any which way, please do. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We need to get these stories out. That's why I created this channel. Just the truth. Get it out there so people can see it. We're going to move on here now. So the Elections Canada scam. This is just disgusting. I am now convinced that Elections Canada is corrupt. This proves it without a shadow of a doubt. They are corrupt. Elections Canada says Terrebonne vote is final, despite error with special ballot. Elections Canada says the result of a recount in the federal riding of Terrebonne is final, despite a misprint that led to one of the special ballots being returned to sender. Now, I believe they're trying to quash this as quickly as possible, because like I said, I highly doubt that the computer and printer just accidentally did one ballot wrong. I believe this is epidemic. I believe it's all across Canada. I now am convinced, especially with them doing this. Everybody, again, please like, share, and subscribe. Get the word out. If you did have your ballot sent back to you, make sure you peel the cover sticker and take a look to ensure that the address was correct. Because if it wasn't, you've got to file it, you've got to take pictures of it and send it to people like me. Even send me the evidence. My Gmail account is right in there. It's canadiancitizenjournal@gmail.com. You can send me the information, send me the pictures. I will put it on the show. We need to bust this. This could very well be a hidden electoral steal. Now, I'm not saying it is one way or the other, but I tell you one thing, this is their fault, and there should be either a complete new by-election, re-election in Terrebonne, or they need to count that vote and do a complete recount once again. You cannot dissolve that person's vote. This is wrong. Absolutely wrong. Preliminary results indicated that the Liberals had won the riding, but the seat flipped temporarily back to the Bloc Québécois after the results were validated. After a recount that gave the seat back to the Liberals, however, CBC News reported that the Bloc voters saw her mail-in ballot returned to her. The agency says the analysis confirmed that part of the return address in the envelope destined for the local elections Canada office, the last 3 characters of the postal code was incorrect. Now again, 3 characters, people. Not 1, not 2, but 3 characters. A computer does not glitch on a singular item when it's mass producing them. You can read the entire article down below. Our country is beyond broken. Now, on to this cocaine gate. I need you to watch very, very carefully. The media is trying to cover this up. And I can tell you straight away, these people, at Macron for sure, you can see it in him. He is higher than a kite on cocaine. You can tell it clear as day. You can see it in his expression. I mean, Jesus, Murphy, look at his hair. The man is buzzing. The man is tripping. So we're going to play this off. Media's trying to cover it up. I'm here to expose it. Watch carefully. Now, see the arrows? There's a bag of cocaine right there. And it looks like what it is it is a paper that has been folded up over top. So I don't think it's necessarily in a baggie. I think they just had a paper. You see this lots when they're doing quickie deals. They'll just quickly fold up some pieces of paper to distribute it out. Usually it's kind of done amongst friends and stuff I've seen this at big parties. It happens. You just kind of right away, you just walk out, kind of get out of there. But and it's also the reaction. If you have kids or you've dealt with any type of an adult situation and you've walked in and busted people before, this is exactly what they look like when they've been busted. So again, watch very careful. The makers of this video did a great job with the little red arrows. See how Macron covers up the lines in front of him with his binder? He's trying to hide that. And he grabbed the baggie right away. There's even a little wee bit of residue beside the cup left over from when he scooped the little, what they're calling was a tissue. Now see that very quickly, they're laughing it off. He puts it in his pocket to get rid of it. He's still
a video
hiding
showing
the line.
French President Emmanuel Macron, along with UK PM Keir Starmer and German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, during a train journey has gone viral after netizens allege that he was hiding a pouch of cocaine. This as the leaders from the European countries traveled to Kiev together on May 9th via train from Poland.
Now, if you look in front of the Chancellor, right in front of his cup is a little, they call them a spooner or a lift. And it's a little wee tool with a very small cup on the end that they will use in order to scoop a little bit of the cocaine and to snort it. You might have seen this on movies. You can actually get they're called fivers, and they're just a little glass vial, and in the lid itself they have a little wee plastic scoop in it, so when you unthread it you can literally pull out a little scoop, and then you snort it. He calls it a stir stick. Now take a look at the size of the glass and take a look at the size of what he's calling a stir stick, and tell me, could you possibly stir a drink with that little toothpick, with a little wee spoon cup on the end of it? I don't think so.
For visiting Western dignitaries to express solidarity with Ukraine amid its ongoing war with Russia. They entered via Poland, a usual route for Western leaders visiting Ukraine during the war. As the leaders gathered around a table, Macron appeared to swipe a small white object into his hand under the table. Merz was seen swiping something too, which triggered claims he held a straw used for cocaine consumption. The clip quickly spread on social media, with users alleging Macron was hiding a pouch of cocaine. Later, France dismissed the rumors, saying that the white object was a used tissue, not drugs. The Elysee Palace called it fake news, spread by enemies.
So the news goes all out, trying to discredit it. But like I said, literally when you watch them get busted, you see it clear as day. The reactions instantly. He slid the folder back, covered up the line, right? You can see this clear as day. There's white residue left behind, and Buddy's got the little spoon. He's got the lift, and then boom, he tries to pocket it. And you can tell by the laughter, this is a complete cover-up.
A video showing French President
cover-up. You have been busted, you three. We know how useless you all are. Anyways, this just confirms it. Unbelievable. So moving on, good old Frank Terrazino. This guy's amazing with the Canadian Taxpayers Federation. I am just going to let him speak truth to power, as he does so well.
Breaking news, folks. The Carney government just said that it's not going to be tabling a budget this year. Crazy, folks. I mean, first of all, this decision alone is a huge crack in Carney's credibility. Look, how can you have any credibility on fiscal responsibility if you can't even put together a budget plan, right? How can you even be a financial wizard if you can't even put together a budget? A huge credibility issue here if the government doesn't bring forward a budget. Now, look, like Canadians have every reason to be worried about the state of our national finances, right? The government is more than $1 trillion in debt. The government doubled the debt in less than a decade. The government has been running deficits in the tens of...
And I'll say it the correct way. The Liberal government in their last 10 years have spent more money than all other parties since the conception birth of Canada together. Let that sink in. And now Carney is going to spend even more money than what Trudeau was already set to blow over on this year's budget. He's going to almost double it. And these are the same party that have been keeping the books for 10 years, and now they're saying they can't give us a budget. Why? Why can't you give us a budget? It's not like there's a brand new government in there trying to make sense of the disaster that the Liberal Party did. These are all the same people.
Of billions of dollars every single year. In Carney's platform, he plans to add another $225 billion to the debt over the next 4 years. I mean, folks, the banker is supposed to be better with the numbers than the drama teacher, but Carney is planning on adding almost $100 billion of more debt than even what Trudeau was planning to do. Okay, think about it this way. Interest payments on the debt alone are blowing a $1 billion hole in the budget every single week. Okay, welcome to Canada, folks, where every single dollar you pay in federal sales taxes goes to pay interest charges on the debt. So Canadians have every reason to be worried about the state of our national finances. And with this decision, the Carney government is essentially just shrugging it off. Oh, don't worry, folks. Well, here's the thing. Taxpayers deserve a budget. Taxpayers deserve to know the true state of our national finances, and taxpayers deserve the ability to hold the government spending plans accountable. But that's pretty hard when the government isn't even going to present a budget. So here's the thing, folks. Canadians deserve a budget. The Carney government must come out with a budget this year, okay? That is end of story, simple as that. And here's the thing. With this decision of the Carney government not presenting a budget, well, that is a huge crack in the government's credibility. Folks, we're going to fight this hard to make sure that the government is transparent with you and presents a budget plan.
Yes. Thank you, Franco. You do great work. If you don't know who that is the Canadian Taxpayers Association. Again, I promote this organization all the time. They are number crunchers. They are looking out for you. Now, if Alberta and Saskatchewan had left, and I'll just use Saskatchewan in a year and a half could pay off our share of the debt in a year and a half and make a minimum of $10 billion more a year than what we're making right now. And that's not putting any economic growth on there, because we would start to explode once we start our own country, because we wouldn't have the Ottawa bureaucracy holding their foot over our head. It's time. It's time. Moving on. This is that MLA I was telling you about. It says the RCMP questioned her about a leaked Safer Supply government documents that she had obtained.
A former Mountie turned Conservative MLA did not expect the RCMP to question her.
It is intimidating to receive, even for myself as a former police officer, when you hear that an anti-corruption unit wants to talk to you.
But officers did in late April. The topic in question, leaked Ministry of Health slides that Eleanor Sturckow shared in February. The slides revealed that a significant portion of prescribed opioids or safe supply were not ending up in the hands of patients, but instead trafficked nationally and internationally. They also revealed that police were aware of some so-called bad actor pharmacies allegedly offering kickbacks to clients to get their safe supply prescriptions from them. Shortly after, BC's health minister announced a significant rollback of the safe supply program. Patients must now take their prescription drugs in front of a pharmacist. 5 days after Sturckow went public with the leaked slides, BC's Director of Police Services, Glenn Lewis, wrote a letter to the head of the BC RCMP requesting an investigation into the, quote, unauthorized disclosure of the slides, which included sensitive information.
And I think that British Columbians should be very concerned by actions that would silence people from coming forward to their MLA.
BC.
Thank you so much for saying that. That's a retired Mountie who ran for this Conservative Party. The good people. And really the Conservative Party today is a liberal, a small L, small c party. Because the Liberal Party isn't the Liberal Party. The Liberal Party's gone. The Liberal Party is a fascist party. In the last 12 to 15 years, that party, and that's why I am so hard on it, because I had Liberal friends. I have voted Liberal in the past. But the Trudeau government, unbelievable. The second once I started seeing what was going on with that party and nobody was talking about it, this is 15 years ago. By 12 years ago, the party was completely corrupted. All the good Liberals were fleeing. They're running. They're all standing up, trying to get the Conservatives in. They're also trying to tell Canadians how corrupt the media is. Real Liberals, not the fascist party that's in today. So for those people who go, oh, you're a Conservative. I'm not, I'm a Libertarian. I also don't believe in voting for any particular party my entire life, because that's how you see people like the regime that happened that slaughtered all of the Jews. You got to use your brains, but it's hard when you've got propaganda. And that's why I need you to like, share, and subscribe. We got to break the propaganda stronghold. We got to burst the bubble and expose people to the truth. We'll continue.
The Solicitor General says he supports Lewis's decision to ask for the police probe, but notes he was not involved.
No, he did not ask me, and nor did I tell him to do that.
The BC RCMP says the investigation was launched under the BC Police Act to look into allegations that third-party information was released without authority that could compromise an active investigation. Premier David Eby says he didn't know about the investigation either and supports the rights of whistleblowers to share information.
For MLA Sturckow, she was doing her job. I understand why she would be unhappy to get a call from the police when all she was doing was exactly what British Columbians hired her to do.
When asked if he would order the police whistleblower investigation be dropped, the Premier says a better use of police time is continuing the investigation into the bad actor pharmacies allegedly offering kickbacks. Katie DeRosa, CBC.
Corruption at the highest levels, people. When the RCMP go after people trying to hold truth to power, your RCMP are corrupt. Period. Moving on. Now, this rebel has put together a town hall. I'm going to let them do their whole speech. If you are in Saskatchewan, this is for you. Listen carefully. This has to do with the secession movement here in Saskatchewan. So for all of you people out there who are vested into it or just curious about it, there will be talks. And this is going to start getting more and more popular. And again, leave it to Rebel News to actually get things started, get this organized, and start putting it out there and doing their job, doing their absolute job. So, where am I here? X. Let's go.
They told us to sit down, they keep telling us to shut up, and they tell us Western separation is off the table. But we're done getting told what to do. Now on Monday, June 2nd, join us in Regina at the Turnvey Center Banquet Hall for a town hall that finally puts your voices first. Doors open at 5, the town hall starts at 6, and for just $5 you can reserve your seat at donegetingscrewed.com. We're talking about pipelines, emissions cap, Ottawa's ongoing overreach, and yes, what a real Western future might look like, with or without the rest of Canada. This isn't about rage, it's about respect. And it starts with you showing up. Regina, you're next. Be there, June 2nd. Go to donegetingscrewed.com for tickets and details.
I am going to try and make that. We will see how my schedule goes. I have got it scratched on the calendar already. It looks like I should be free. I've got something the day before I have to double check on. It does look like it could be a 2 or 3 day affair. If that's the case, I'm still going to try and slip up there and be part of this. So I urge everybody out there in Saskatchewan, if you're part of this secession movement, if you want to free yourself from the chains of the federal government, this is the first place you want to start. You want to go there. This is a great place. We'll be able to make connections. We'll be able to have an open talk, an open dialogue. So figured I'd throw that out there. And now there's a lot going on with people. The mainstream media in Canada, for the most part, they're kind of hiding it. They're trying not to talk about it. Down in the States, they're making fools of themselves because Trump is offered Africans, pretty much a free come to America. We're going to help you get started. We're going to guarantee the steps in order for you to become an American citizen in order to save your life. And now media is going all crazy saying how, yeah, right, whites, as if there's racism against whites. Okay, so let's just straighten out a few facts. Slavery is still ongoing today. There is no disproportionate white, black, Asian when it comes to slavery. In fact, you could say the most sought after are blonde, blue-eyed white girls. They're the most sought after. Now, but over on all general, when it comes to the all aspect of the slave trade, that's how it works out. Now, racism is the same thing. Christianity has been under attack, but right away they throw like it's a white thing. I'm sorry, I hate even having to say this, but I know a lot of Filipinos, I know a lot of Africans, I know a lot of very diverse, we'll call it color scheme, that are all Catholics. So mainstream doing what they do, they just try to be idiots to try and create this hate, fear, hate, and division. What they're not telling you is what's actually going on in Africa. They have been for years. It started slow. They were attacking the Boyer farmers, and they were hacking him up, burning him alive, doing some nasty things to him. And it became a political movement. And now it's getting out of control, where every day there are farmers down there, white, who are getting genocided. And of course, there'll be those that'll be going, yeah, but they're not real Africans. You know what? There isn't a single person on a continent today that can say that they're the originals. Because I'm sorry, if you actually take a look at the logistics of time, it's not true. I mean, considering even here in Canada, they're like, we've been here since the beginning of time. No, my ancestors have not been here since the beginning of time, because I know for a fact, 9,500 years ago, there was 2 miles of ice where I'm sitting today. So don't give me that. And we can get going on all the scientific, like don't forget about Clovis. I mean, they were here first, and guess what? None of their genetics test to match anything to do with the indigenous here. So this whole people belong, no. You go to a place, you work a place, you are intergenerational, and you create something there. You homestead the land. You are part of the land. Once you become a caretaker of the land, you know, it's not like they just went over there and they just did the whole thing that happened 180 years ago. This is long gone. This is all done. The apartheid is finished. That's all done. And even before that, you got to remember, a lot of the farmers that stayed weren't part of the apartheid. They didn't want no part. They wanted equality. So, mainstream doing a bad job. But I am going to show you a clip, and I'm only going to show you one. There's thousands out there, and I'm not going to show you the thousands of very bad ones that are out there where they show these people bragging about doing what they're doing, kind of like the Hamas videos that are out there that I won't show. But this I'll show. This is a rally. This is how big the movement is in Afrika. This is very, very scary. Listen to what they say. Now, if you don't understand it, he's saying K-I-L-L, the boyer, the farmer. K-I-L-L, the boyer, the farmer. Look at the crowd chanting and screaming and being part of this. This is growing, this is out of control. This is racism out of control. Now, scary. Very scary. Now, before we get to the Avalanche clip, I'm just going to give you a quick reminder of what the East voted for again.
What does the leader of the opposition do? Tells his MPs, you're no longer allowed to send letters to the government. The member from Sherwood Park for Saskatchewan is no longer allowed to write to the government and say, can you please help my community?
The member opposite, the parliamentary secretary, claimed that members of the opposition, members of the Conservative caucus, are no longer able to write letters to the government.
Now, he went out and he spewed this on CBC, CTV, without correction. They let them, this is the hate that's been going on for 10 years on why so many people who are brainwashed were like, oh, well, I'm afraid of Pierre, because the journalists never did their job and said, please, knock it off. Knock it off. That's a lie. They never did that. They let them spew these lies. This is just happening in the House. But I love the correction.
That is, in fact, false.
And Garna Genius, by the way, remarkable MP. A super smart man.
In order to demonstrate the point, I actually wrote a letter to the government while he was speaking. The letter says as follows: Dear government, please help my community by calling a carbon tax election now. And if one of the pages could come over and bring that over to the parliamentary secretary, I would greatly appreciate it.
And there we go. Now, if the media could have actually done something against all of these false accusations, we would have had a completely different election. This is why I always say like, share, and subscribe. Get the word out. That's the only way we're going to break the propaganda arm of the government. And we do. We have to sever it completely. It's got to go. Now, this amazing footage. This is just absolutely wild. Put it on split here so you can get a larger picture. Watch carefully.
This climber in Alberta is about to get the scare of a lifetime.
Boy, did he step the right way. If he would have stepped right, he would have been a goner.
Darcy LaBelle was out climbing with his friend on Mount Balfour on May 1st when a large avalanche happened almost under his feet.
See the crack all the way down there?
Fortunately, he managed to hold onto the cliffside, narrowly avoiding being dragged down with the snow.
And here it goes.
The large avalanche can be seen storming down the mountainside below. LaBelle said he felt extremely small, unsafe, and stressed about it as it kept sliding further and further. The duo gave up on their trek to the summit, but continued their journey through the Wapta ice fields.
Isn't that insane? Wow. There's a story to tell your kids. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah, that's the greatest thing I think with our technology that we have today is there's just the remarkable things that we've been able to capture, like I've shown on some previous episodes, like the meteorite. The fact that somebody actually filmed a pebble-sized meteorite smoking a cement pad caught on a camera, a door camera. It advanced science hundreds of years. They were actually able to see. They slow it down, break it down, see the impact, test the heat. Remarkable. Cameras truly have changed for the good. They can be used for the bad, but for the good. When they're manipulated, when people manipulate and don't show their evidence like I do, in order to pass fake news, that's when it's wrong, or in order to smear somebody. But yeah, for the most part, I thought that footage was just absolutely remarkable. Well, you guys, I'm going to call that an episode. I hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And if you are, punch that notification bell so you don't miss any future episodes. Until the next time, I'm Alias the Guy. You've been watching the Canadian Citizen Journal. Stay informed.